ジを聞かないと。いやー、メタルギアなんとかもう終わらせたいね。いい加減ちょっと、まあ、ここら辺やってみる。これちょっとこういうのあんま意味やんなくてね。よし、ラジオ聞くぞ。
Snake, Zadornov has escaped custody. Find him.
ミラーのやつが残ってた。
Snake, you got a sec?
What's up?
Prime Minister Gary of Grenada is asking the UN to set up an agency to study the UFO problem.
Grenada? That island in the Caribbean?
He gave the press a bunch of photos. Says they prove the existence of UFOs. One of them caught my eye.
That's the...
Yep. The weapon Huey called the Chrysalis.
Kaz, this is the photo I gave to Chico. He said something about selling it off as a photo of a UFO.
Looks like it found its way into the pages of a magazine.
But why would the Prime Minister of a country believe tabloid trash like that?
There's been reports all over the Americas of abductions and cattle mutilations lately.
You think they're true?
I think the CIA might be involved.
If they are, then Gary could be.
I know. If he digs too deep, he's gonna get himself into trouble.
But Grenada's right next door to Cuba.
I guess that would make it tough for the CIA to intervene, in a sense.
Upsetting the domestic balance of power could cause it to go red all of a sudden.
True. Well, in any case, it's not like we can do anything about it. Just wanted to let you know.
Gotcha. I'll be careful not to let any more photos leak.
早速チコがもうなんかやらかしてる。
Hey, Snake. I've been thinking. Maybe Che couldn't find a place for himself outside the battlefield either.
How so?
He led the Cuban Revolution to victory. That's quite an accomplishment. He could have called it quits there and nobody would have blamed him. But he left behind a loving family and a cabinet post to plunge back into the struggle. First in the Congo, then in Bolivia where he met his end.
You're overthinking things. Che went back to the battlefield because he was needed there. Read his farewell letter, then you'll understand.
Some say he was too idealistic to fit in with the government.
Too many scruples, most likely.
Maybe so, but I still can't help thinking the reason you look up to Che is because you see something of yourself in him. You left your country behind and plunged into battle. You wander from one battlefield to another, going wherever you're needed.
Che was a revolutionary as well as a warrior. He took up arms to fight for his beliefs. I don't do what I do for any ideology. I'm a warrior. Nothing more. Nothing less.
Okay, boss. You're right. Just wanted to see how we stacked up against a real hero.
よし、これでミラーのやつ全部終わったな。あとはもうストレンジラブだけだな。パズも全部終わってるし。よし、行きますか。
Strangelove, when did you and the boss first meet?
Did she ever tell you about what she saw in space?
Yeah.
I saw the same thing along with her. The Soviets beat America into space with Sputnik, and so America rushed to be first in manned spaceflight. NASA used her as their top secret guinea pig, launching her deep into the cold blackness of space. I took part in the project as a scientist.
You were there with her?
Yes. For a brief time. We were one and the same, she and I. We sought each other out, completed each other. Did you know that inside every woman there's a universe? And that we are able to sense this in each other? We connected because of our empathetic female brains. As time went on, I began to have doubts about offering such a noble soul as sacrifice. Why did she have to... The flight test was a narrow success, and she miraculously made it back alive. But her mind and body were horribly mangled, and there was nothing I could do for her. We were no longer one and the same. She went away, and I, having nothing else to live for, immersed myself in AI research. hoping that no one would ever have to make her sacrifice again.
I never knew.
It's not really worth knowing. We were ships passing in the night, that's all. Perhaps someday I'll tell you the long version, if you're interested.
そういえば昨日さ、あ、でもこれも聞いたよね、全部。いや、
That was quite a warm welcome you gave me at the base in Costa Rica.
Sorry about that. But I simply had to know.
The boss's final act.
Yes, by inputting her thoughts and actions into the AI, I was imbuing it with her mind. The only thing I couldn't understand was her final act.
Operation Snake Eater.
Official history says she betrayed her homeland and defected to the enemy and was killed by you. But it didn't make sense. The boss would be the last person on Earth to betray her country. It was logically inconsistent.
It was, wasn't it?
That internal inconsistency prevented the AI from activating properly. Just as HAL malfunctioned in the film, I understood the reasoning, but I had to have proof. Proof of her final act, her true intentions, one way or another.
So you tried to squeeze it out of me, huh?
As a matter of fact, I did. Your silence was the very answer I was looking for.
That white horse the boss rode.
The Andalusian, yes.
How'd it get to Costa Rica?
I went looking for it. It was her final witness. Even if it couldn't speak, I found it and brought it here.
Where? I thought for sure it'd be blown to ashes by those MiGs.
I searched the ends of the earth for that horse, and found it at last in a horse market in Britain.
Britain? Are you saying it came all the way over the Ural Mountains, through Europe, and across the English Channel?
Who knows, really? Perhaps someone took it there.
Wait, the thought never occurred to you that it might be a different Andalusian that only looks the same?
I can't prove it. Or rather, I couldn't.
What do you mean?
You should know best of all. That horse wouldn't let anyone ride it. And believe me, I nearly killed myself trying. The only one it allowed on its back was you. That was the proof. Though I hate to admit it.
And to think, I ran it to its death.
But in that last run, it regained the glory of its youth, using the last of its strength to pursue its former master. Any horse would wish for such a fine end.
What do you make of Peace Walker's final act?
I recreated her thought patterns exactly. It was exactly what she would have done. The world's most empathetic mind weighed the past, the future, and the entire world, and decided not to retaliate. Merely knowing that is enough for me.
So, what you're saying is, we don't need deterrence to have peace?
I didn't say that. What's important is that we wish for peace. MSF needs a way to protect itself from the might of nations. Survival requires pragmatic thought and action. But you must still retain your ideals. If the gap between reality and those ideals ever leads you to lose them, I doubt MSF will survive. AI stands for artificial intelligence. It refers to a man-made machine possessing an intellect on par with that of a human being.
Is that even possible?
Possible. You've seen it with your own eyes. What the AI weapons are capable of. How Peace Walker carried out the boss's will in the end. No mere machine could ever choose to sacrifice itself like that.
I just can't see how a bunch of circuits and switches could have a will of its own.
It's called the ghost in the machine, Snake. And it exists.
What did you mean by the ghost in the machine?
Oh, that. It's a term coined by the philosopher Gilbert Ryle. You've heard of Descartes, yes?
I think, therefore I am.
That is the one. Descartes espoused the dualistic theory of mind and body. He believed that our thinking minds exist in a separate dimension from our bodies, which are governed by the laws of physics. But if that were true, then couldn't you say that a mechanical body, inhabited by a ghost mind, is a human being? Ryle criticized Descartes on those grounds, saying such a thing surely wouldn't be human.
Why'd you bring it up?
I wasn't thinking of Ryle in particular when I said it. I simply thought that if a person is composed of a machine and a ghost, perhaps the opposite is true as well. Perhaps, by placing a ghost inside a machine, we could, in effect, give birth to a new person.
And that was your idea for the boss AI?
The moment you ripped the memory board out, the mammal pod ceased to function. It should have been dead. And yet, Peace Walker righted itself, singing a song of peace. I couldn't help but feel that her soul had come to inhabit Peace Walker.
Let's say, hypothetically, there really was an intelligent machine. How would you prove it? What's the difference between a high-level computer and an AI?
It depends on what you choose to define as intelligence. For example, Snake, listen to my voice talking to you now. Suppose it were an AI.
Say what?
What if the living, breathing me sitting here drinking tea and talking to you were actually an AI, programmed to simulate my thoughts and my voice?
You're nuts.
No, I'm not. You couldn't prove I was a real human being, could you?
It'd be... No.
So if an AI is so advanced you can't tell it from the real thing, wouldn't you call that intelligence?
I'm not quite convinced.
But that's only one way to look at it. It's roughly how Dr. Turing explained artificial intelligence. The test I described is called the Turing test, in his honor.
Yeah, well, sounds like a bad joke to me. That singing monster of yours put me through hell. If I never meet one again, it'll be too soon.
Shame. And I was about to let an AI take my place in our conversation.
Don't even think about it.
なんかどんどん増えていく。ちょっとこれ聞いたら一回ミッション行くか。
Dr. Alan Turing is known as the father of computer science. It was he who formulated the basic theory of AI. During the war, he worked for GC and CS.
The government's cryptology school. The one that broke Enigma.
The very same. Without him, they might never have been able to decipher the Germans' code. But then, they arrested him.
Why? Weren't his some of the greatest contributions to winning the war?
Homosexuality was a crime in Britain back then, and he was gay. I know exactly how crushed he was. I feel it's my duty to further his AI research.
Like the Imitation Game, huh?
Huh. You know it then. The clue that inspired the Turing test came from a trifling little party game. You exchange written notes with another person behind a screen and try to guess their gender, whether they're a woman or a man, pretending to be a woman. It's surprisingly difficult to tell the difference. Man or woman, human or machine. What do the differences even mean? Dr. Turing was fascinated by the differences between men and women. Perhaps that's what led him to formulate his test.
それをもう早速耳かゆくなってきたよ。あと何個あんの？あと6個くらいか。一回これはじゃあミッションやりながら残りの6個って感じでいいかな。よし、これもあったのか。まずミッション行くか。ミッションやりながら少しずつやっていきましょう。バトルスーツじゃなくて。 れかっこいいんだよね。
Survival.
Find Zadornov and bring him back here with Fulton Recovery.
あれ、なんか早速道が2つに分かれてるけど。いるいるいる、思いっきりいるし。しかもヘルメットかぶってる。かぶって
Can't be imagining things.
かぶってないのかこれは。いや、かぶってんな。ヘルメットかぶってるんだけど。
I heard something.
Freeze.
どっち行けばいいんだ。どっち行けばいいんだ。
Fulton Recovery helicopter is complete.
よくわからんが。橋なんだよ。ねえねえねえ、なんかすごい複雑なんだけど。
Freeze.
この橋なんかスリーブなんですよ。どっち行けばいいのかよくわかんないけど。とりあえずいろんな場所行ってみよう。あ、こっちに来たのか。あ、これ戻ってるのか。なんかあそこにいるね。なんだこれなんだ。これなんだこれ。あ、消えた。何 UMA みたいな。ここちょっと待って、一回さ戻ってみるか。先にここの横2つ行ってみるか。敵もいない。せっかくなんか最後だから行ける場所行ってみましょう。こっちも行けない。ここは行けないのか。でもこういうのってさ、山りだな。この横なんかちょっと気になるよね。 なんかあそこにドキュメント落ちてるし。誰だとか。
Freeze.
ちょっとなんか来ると思ったよ。あっちにもいんのか。なんだろうね。なんか
Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
なんか流れてるのか。こっち見てる。これなんだ。なんだろうね。こっち見てるでしょ、きれい。
Freeze.
なんかいっぱい流れてんだけど、これなんかある。イエーイ。なんか向こうにもできるのか。もうこっちから行けないもんね。
Stay out of the water. That's beyond the scope of this operation.
ですよね。
There's only so many places to hide. Search every...
ここになんかいそうだね。ここ怪しい。あ、絶対ここにいるだろう。兵士は何人だ。上注意、上にいる時があるからな。おお、3体。ここ怪しいな。ここになんかいそうだな。4体めっちゃいるし。マジで。気づい頼む、行ってくれ。そっち側に行ってくれ。おびき出して。
What was that?
そうだろ。やっちゃったよ。完全にやっちゃった感じ。
Enemy sighted. Requesting backup.
Negative. We can't spare reinforcements. You'll have to make do with what you have.
야, 뭐 난데 버렸다 그랬지. 이거 이렇게. 이야, きついね。これでバレると思わなかった。マジかよ。いけると思ったんだけど、意外とバレちゃうんだ。全然回収しよう。
Search every inch of that area.
ここ怪しいね、やっぱり。
Fulton recovery subject confirmed on board helicopter.
あと一人どこだっけ。間違った。いやー、バレちゃったよ。絶対ひどいな。あのまま歩いてってくれると思ったんだけどね、音がする方向に。いきなりこっち向かれちゃったからさ、ちょっと予想外の。やっぱレーダーとかあった方がいいのかな。待てよ、ここって戻っちゃうだけだもんな。いや、いないけど、どこに建物の中とか入れない。あ、この上か。絶対ここにいるわ。絶対ここにいるって。お、終身だ。これ違うよね。これ違う。
Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
いや、ここにはいないっすね。いた。思いっきりいたんだけど、ここに。
Is the Dornovs anywhere? It's gotta be there, don't you think?
思いっきりここにいるけど。思いっきりいたわ、ここに。
Try using Fulton recovery on him.
いかじゃん、もう終わりで。ちょっとフルトもあんまないし。で、
Okay, you're done with that area. Head for the goal.
ゴール。
You did it! Keep it up!
普通にいたっていうね。まあ、フルトももうちょっと余裕があったら残りのエリアも探索した方がよかったけど、まあいいか、別にね。もうあとはメインミッションを終わらせることが最後です。まあこういうのは別におまけ程度でね。
So, you found me.
It wasn't hard. What are you up to anyway?
Just going for a stroll.
Kaz, I've got Zadornov returning home.
Acknowledge, Snake. Snake, I got another report from the R&D team. They finished converting Mother Base into a hex plant. MSF's capabilities are up across the board, too. Our combat team's contracts keep increasing. We're seeing action on a daily basis, and we're raking in a ton of GMP. Now this is how a business is supposed to look. At this rate, the sky's the limit. We're just getting started, Snake. Keep up the great work.
でもこれ全部破壊されるもんね。5の最初でね。M37。レッド。すげえ。GMP がすごい増えてきた。なんか音楽変わったし。なんかつくのか。あ、つく。いや、生きててくれ。お、いいね。全部もう終わってるな、これかな。じゃあ次はこのまま行きますかね。って感じでしょ。なんか作るか。 シン作っとくか。なんかもうこれでもな、別に作んなくていや、別になんか大して別にいいかな。よし、とにかくメインミッション終わらせたい、早く。あれまだメインミッション増えないんだ。これサイドミッションやらないとメインミッション増えない感じか、これ。フルトミカブリが増えてる。これもやりますか。ですので、じゃあ
Let's get this mission started. Complete the mission.
で、これやりながらラジオを頑張って聞いていこう。特に増えてないもんね。増えてる？
Hey, what's with all this sighing? You're not your usual self.
Oh, Snake.
Something on your mind?
Huh? No, not really. I guess. Hey, Snake. Girls are funny, you know? You can never tell what they're thinking. They're always doing their own thing. Maybe they really are different from us men.
Whoa, what's this about now? Chico, do you have a crush on somebody?
No, it's not that. I just.
What? Go ahead, you can talk to me.
Whenever I talk to Paz, my heart starts pounding and everything I say comes out wrong.
Paz? I guess she is pretty close to your age.
That ever happened to you, Snake?
Well, sure. Happens to everybody.
Well, how do I talk to her?
That is a tough one. Why don't you try, talking to her like you talk to everybody else?
No, it doesn't work. I freeze up every time I'm around her. Our eyes meet and my face starts burning for some reason.
It's like living on the battlefield. You just have to get used to it. You're nervous at first, but the more you're out there, the more natural it feels. Get your courage up and go talk to her more often.
Oh, okay. Man, girls are more full of mysteries than UMAs.
Oh, you got that right.
意外と面白いんで、こういうの聞いてると。特にこのセシールさんがなんかすごい俺のタイプなんだけど、パズよりもどっちかといえば。この辺頑張って聞いてるか。エヴァのやつも残ってるからな。まあちょっとこの辺から。
What if you hadn't used the boss as the model for the AI?
What do you mean?
If the end goal is MAD, it seems like there are more suitable models out there. A military chief of staff, or a nuclear technician, even the president.
Patriotism, leadership, good judgment. Each of those qualities is essential when deciding whether to launch a nuke. And she had them all.
Wouldn't the president too?
It's not enough. She had the will for it.
Will?
Let me explain, Snake. Peace Walker is a standalone weapon. It has to decide on its own whether or not to launch a nuke. It can't turn to anyone else for advice. It can't do its job if it's not prepared to take sole responsibility for the fate of the world. I know of no other human being who could bear that burden.
That's it?
There were technical considerations, of course. To begin with, the female brain is a more appropriate model for an AI.
Oh, wait, the female brain?
必ず増える。1個。
What do you mean by that, modeling your AI after the female brain?
Snake, what is the human mind capable of that a computer is not?
Being lazy?
Interesting response. And not incorrect. But the answer I was looking for was empathy.
Empathy?
The ability to feel for others, to be more precise. Love for a child. Pity for the weak. Grief for the dead. All of these are particularly well developed in the female brain.
That's stretching it a little.
On the contrary, it's perfectly reasonable. The male brain, on the other hand, may be well suited for systematic thinking, but it's less able to empathize. In that sense, it's closer to a computer. So if your objective is to make the AI think more like a human...
You need to teach it how to empathize like a woman.
The novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, deals with this very problem. In the book, an empathy test is used to distinguish between machines and human beings. As machines become more and more advanced, our society will gradually become more and more systematic. Our cities will teem with robot-like people, unable to feel for others. We cannot allow that to happen. Computers must learn to empathize. The same goes for humans, only more so.
Well, what about yourself? You make these claims, and yet I've never seen you empathize with a real person.
It's true. Until now, I was a prisoner of death. It was my intention to die upon the completion of Mammal's development. She was my one reason to live.
But you changed your mind.
I did. Because she taught me the dignity of living. My eyes are open now. I want to go on living and seeing real people.
Huh. I see.
エヴァのやつも行くか。ちょっと待ってね。時間ちょうどいいから一回止めますか。